Hi everyone, and welcome back to season number 5 of Eye on Harness Racing. Between now and November, we'll be bringing you the best of harness racing every Thursday afternoon. This year, though, we've added some new features we're certain you will enjoy. First, starting today, some of our shows will be known as Eye on Harness Racing Focus, with a featured interview with some of the sport's leading personalities and newsmakers. And another change will be the addition of a new co-host, Heather Dodds, the USTA's Director of Advertising and a great harness racing fan in her own right. Heather, welcome to Eye on Harness Racing.
Thank you, John. I'm looking forward to being here each week. And let me introduce another member of our team, Ken Weingartner, who this past week was in Goshen, New York for the USTA Driving School, where he met some students with interesting stories to tell.
If you like an experiential vacation, this is the place to come. People are fun, they're nice, they're really interested in having you have a good time. Now, yes, we have to work, but that's part of the experience. It's like you go to see a race and you see the race, but you don't experience anything. You come here, you get to jog, you get out on the cart, and you get to see all the preparation that works up to that.
Now, what do you hope to take away from this when you go back to Illinois?
Well, I'm hoping that I will make more of an effort to get out to the racetrack. None of my friends care for horses at all. So I've ridden and I've done this, so I've done it on my own. But there are a couple of people here from Chicago, and I'm hoping we can get together and then go out to the track more often.
Did you know a lot about harness racing? What led you to be interested in the first place?
Yeah, I started to grow a love for the thoroughbred side of things, and realized that's probably not a path that's right for me. Came over to the standbred side, went to a few seminars, started talking to people, stayed at the track quite a bit, and just started catching the itch for it. And boy, once it took, it really started to take. So yeah, it was great.
What have you thought of the experience here?
Oh, it's a great experience. You take a lot from all the little side conversations that you get to have throughout the day, and you just take those mental notes and just try to bring those home with you. Yeah.
And when we found out that you're giving out driving classes in New York, because we're from Queens, New York, and this is just like, wow, this is great. So we came here, and so far, this is like day one, and it's just amazing already. So yeah, we're really glad that we came here.
Now, you've never been behind a horse?
No, never.
Just came off the track. What was the experience like?
I think I'm addicted to it already. It's just too much fun. We have horses on our own, and we really like to maybe one day get our own farm and bring our horses together, because we hope that when we retire, this is what we're going to be doing. So we want to prepare ourselves for it.
And Emily Gross win it, and she's still in control. Smoking and grinning in second, and you can be sure Emily Gross is certainly winning out as tough as wire.
They call him the Professor, Joe Christofek, Harness Racing Night School. If you don't know about it, we're going to let you in on a secret. Joe, tell us, how did you get started in this quest, if you will, to educate horse players?
Well, it's been my passion for basically 20 years, John, since the moment I first stepped onto a racetrack working here in the Chicagoland area at Hawthorne, Arlington, Balmoral, Maywood, Sportsman's Park, and it's been a quest ever since. I think one of the great failures of racetracks around the country is they don't put enough emphasis on fan education. People walk through the turnstiles and walk back through the turnstiles at the end of the day and really don't learn as much as they should about the great game of horse racing, whether it's the animal themselves or the wagering aspect of it.
Now, I understand much of the curriculum has to do with thoroughbred racing and harness racing. Obviously, how to place a wager, money management is common to every horse player. Give us an idea of some of the things you've got coming up, however, that are specific to harness racing.
Well, specific to harness racing, we've got the Hambletonian Eliminations, which is going to be a chat that's combined with the Haskell. We call it our Jersey Shore type subject, and that's coming up on July 23rd. Then on September the 17th, we have Little Brown Jug Week, which will be very, very interesting as we lead up to that big event. And then Breeders' Crown Week on October the 15th. And John, as you mentioned, a lot of these topics kind of intermingle with each other. A lot of the wagering topics do. We've got a couple of newbie topics coming up for the brand new horse players on June 18th and June 25th, consecutive Tuesdays, newbie handicapping followed by newbie wagering. So if you're new to harness racing, you're new to the wagering game, those are probably 2 dates you want to write down in your calendar.
I read an article recently in which a number of thoroughbred horse players said, "Oh, we don't bet on harness because we've never learned about it." Are you finding out that some of your students are making the crossover and actually wagering a bob or two on harness horses?
Well, that is a huge benefit to the harness industry in being involved in night school and the way we're doing it this year. Last year we had harness specific night school and the harness fans learned a lot, but this year we are exposing the thoroughbred and quarter horse fans to harness racing and vice versa. A lot of the things that you look at in handicapping are similar, but there are a lot of differences as well. So you see a lot of those thoroughbred players who dabble in harness racing becoming more and more interested. What we like to say at horseplayernow.com and on Night School, with knowledge comes horsepower. The more they know about it, the more apt they're going to be to play those races.
Now, school is really in midterm. Is there any way for me to catch up with some of your past lessons?
There is a way that you can do that. It's our completed events tab. We archive all of our past events. In fact, from the last 3 years, more than 90 to 100 night school episodes have been archived, probably upwards of 120 in fact. And all you have to do is go to the completed events tab on the night school page, scroll back through the previous topics. It makes for great reading. Those topics are timeless and they are a horse racing library, so to speak.
Joe, it's not just bookwork we're talking about here. You really have a multimedia approach to your instructions. Tell us about that.
Well, John, this is the 3rd year of night school, and we figured, going through the chat format was interesting to people. It was going to continue to be interesting, but we wanted to change things up and keep it fresh at horseplayernow.com with night school. So we're doing a radio episode once a month with Steve Bick from At the Races. And in addition to that, we're also doing long form videos. A couple of weeks ago, we explored the world of the jockey and the driver. Marcus Miller was nice enough to join us for a huge chunk of that segment, discussing the fan education aspect of driver, what it takes to be a driver, what makes a good driver. Do drivers look at the tote board? Do they understand the odds and the wagering? We asked them some pretty difficult questions, and Marcus gave us some really good answers. So in addition to the chats, we're doing radio and video as well. We have expanded our curriculum, so to speak.
Joe Christofek Night School is his venue, and you are missing out if you don't stop by ustrotting.com and click on that link. Joe, thank you very much for being our guest here on Ion Harness Racing Focus. One of the sport's top performances this past weekend came in the $50,000 TVG free-for-all at the Meadowlands, in which Fred and Ginger split rivals late and rushed to a 147-3 victory.
Trying to hang in there. Dynamic Youth on the outside. It's Sweet Lou. Fred and Ginger looking to split them toward the inside. Sweet Lou, Fred and Ginger is coming up the rail. It's Fred and Ginger who nailed it from Sweet Lou.
The win was a record, but not a world record. That mark is still held by Cambest at 146-1. It was, however, the all-time fastest race mile in North America by an older pacing horse on any size track.
Whether any of the current crop of 3-year-old pacers will ever go that fast remains to be seen, of course. But this year's sophomores will get down to serious business this coming Saturday in the $50,000 North America Cup eliminations at Mohawk. Ken Weingartner spoke with trainer Tony Alagna earlier this week to get a pre-cup report of the reigning freshman pacing colt of the year, Captaintreacherous.
We didn't really want to go up to the Sun Beach somewhere because he was going to be away from home for 3 weeks, and we didn't want to ship him back and forth for every division or every leg. So our decision we made amongst us was to skip the Sun Beach somewhere, put a good training in him Saturday at the Meadowlands if he didn't get in the 3-year-old Open, which didn't fill, and go into the elimination off of that one start and one good training.
What were you able to see from his one start that might have impressed you?
I think that the biggest thing was his versatility, his quietness as far as, he left out of there and Tim had to grab him and try to put him in a hole, and the minute he put him in a hole, the horse that he was going to be ducking behind made a break, so he had to move back toward the front, and then even after being out to almost the half and 54 and change over there, he was very, very responsive in the stretch. And, we put 3 qualifiers hours in the horse, and then he had another start, or he had his first start there. So I mean, you know, he's basically going into this with five times behind the gate. So.
Do you feel pressure heading up there now with this year, you know, in general?
No, I really don't. You know, I think the biggest thing was getting his first start in him. You know, we got a nice positive first start into him. So, you know, whatever's going to be, he's going to be. You know, he was as good as ever that start. He trained great on Saturday at the Meadowlands. So I don't, you know, anticipate the horse being anything but on his game.
Trackmaster Harness Pro is the most unique and powerful harness racing handicapping tool available on the market today. There's no software to download or install. Simply and easily handicap from any PC, Mac, or tablet computer using a web browser. Visit Trackmaster.com to become a Harness Pro.
Harness handicappers, this one's for you. Trackmaster Harness Pro is the most unique and powerful handicapping tool dedicated to harness racing on the market today. It's a combination of all the features found in sophisticated handicapping software, all conveniently presented as a web-based, all-in-one handicapping utility. The only product you'll ever need. Trackmaster Harness Pro has these exclusive features: top performers, graphs, power ratings, sortable statistics, PDF race programs included. Trackmaster is your complete source for harness racing information. Trackmaster Harness Pro for the serious player.
For the next 2 weeks, I'll be away, so Heather, be ready to fly solo.
And next week, we'll look ahead to the North America Cup final and have more you'll enjoy on the next edition of Eye on Harness Racing.